Healthy Scratch Red Wings Report, presented by 5v5hockey.com.
Yo, welcome back to the Healthy Scratch Red Wings Report. It's Buschy with you once again. If you enjoyed today's video, please like, comment, and subscribe for more Red Wings content. I'm back, finally. I know it's the offseason, it's the playoffs. We're just about to start the Stanley Cup Finals on Saturday, and there hasn't been a whole lot going on with the Red Wings, so I wanted to do something fun today, and that is project what's going to happen in the offseason, and I'm going to show you what the roster is probably going to look like. We're going to go a little bit more realistic. I am going to do another roster where I'm putting on my NHL 24 cap. We're going to get a little bit crazy. But this one, we're going to keep it grounded. This is what I think Steve Yzerman's going to do or something like it. I have a personal free agent signing that I want to say, and that is Baby Buschy number 2 is on the way. That's why I haven't really been making a whole lot of videos lately. Been kind of busy around the house, getting things ready. Doing December, but you got to do things when you got to do things. So there you go, 24, Bob Probert. That's when the kiddo's being born. So there's that. Now, what I want to say going forward is I did all of this on Cap Friendly. You guys can do this too. It's their Armchair GM interactive mode. You can go in and do whatever you want to do. Make trades, buyouts, signings, offer sheets, anything you can think of, you can do it in this mode. It'll show you what I'm going to show you, which is the depth chart, the lines. You can set them yourself, the power plays, the penalty kills, your minor league team. If you're a nerd like me and you like to try to do that and project, go for it. And I mean, if you have ideas and you have lines, throw them in the comments. I'm going to tell you mine, and here's how we're going to do it. Now, just so everybody knows, the salary cap is going to go up. I've set it for $87.5 million. So that's what we're going off of for this video. Now, it's not an official amount, but that is the rumored number, so that's what we're gonna go with. Going forward in this video, every single contract projection that you see is not random. It's from AFP Analytics. They have an awesome spreadsheet. They try to look at all the analytical side of the game, the numbers, the contracts, the points, what they bring to the team. They try to project what these guys' cap hits are gonna be. So that's what I'm going to use today. Where I don't really want to guess myself, we'll use that just as our bar. So the first thing we're going to start with is just the restricted free agents that the Red Wings have. Now, the big ones are obviously Lucas Raymond and Mo Seider. Going into our restricted free agents, these are all the players that the Red Wings have the rights to still, all their young players. The big two is Lucas Raymond and Mo Seider. We've been talking about this all year. I did a few videos before the season started about what I thought that both of those players would be making. Now, what they have Lucas Raymond coming in at is $7.8 million cap hit for 7 years. Now, these numbers were taken from January, so take that with a grain of salt. Lucas Raymond might have earned himself a little bit more. On the flip side, Mo Seider was at $7.6 million for 6 years. He might have had a little bit of like maybe a 7.4. So I think it's a wash. When you put these two guys together, they're going to cost you about $15 million. So Lucas Raymond, Mo Seider, we brought them back. Jonathan Berggren, I have coming back 2 years, $1.1 million. He'll still be restricted at the end of that contract. Albert Johansson is going to be a Red Wing next year because he's waiver exempt. So I have him at 2 years, $950K, which I think is fair for someone that's never played an NHL game yet. And Joe Veleno, I brought back 1 year, $1 million. Now, the thing with Joe Veleno is he is restricted. He does not have arbitration rights. So AFP Analytics had him at like $1.6 million. Now, I do not want to pay Joe Veleno that much. So I put him at $1 million because if I was Steve Yzerman, I would be completely willing to just wait him out because there's not a whole lot of leverage there, and I want to use that cap space elsewhere. So I'm just going off of, hey, maybe we'll win that battle and get him for $1 million. Now, we do have to make cap space, and there are a few players that are, rumored to be getting moved. Sometimes I had a little bit of an idea during the season of who I think would be shot out of a cannon, but realistically, what do I think they'll do? The first trade that I'm going to throw up on the screen right now, this is with the Columbus Blue Jackets. Now, this could be any type of, like I say, bottom feeder team, respectfully. It could be San Jose, Columbus, anything like the Anaheim, maybe. We're going to throw Justin Hall to the Columbus Blue Jackets, but we're going to have to package a draft pick with them. So I put a third-round pick. I think that's fair, and we're getting nothing in return. We're basically packaging a pick with him to get him out of here. Now, his $3.4 million cap hit is for this season and next season. Not a good signing by Steve Yzerman. I will not defend that one. He didn't play that much. When people say he was one of the worst Red Wings, I disagree with that because he didn't play that much. I still think that goes to Jeff Petrie easily. But Justin Hall, clearly, it just didn't fit the team, so we're going to jettison him to the Blue Jackets. The second trade is very interesting because I think Robbie Fabry is a good player, but I don't know if I want to pay him $4 million for just the next season, and then we have a decision to make with them. So what I did is I flipped him to the Minnesota Wild for goalie Philip Gustafsson. So the money does work. They're very similar with contract. Gustafsson has a couple more seasons left, so you're gaining a year of a contract and giving up Fabry and getting Gustafsson. I don't think that Steve Yzerman and the Red Wings are going to be comfortable going into the season with just Billy Husso and Alex Lyon. If they went in with those two and James Reimer last year, with the issues that Husso's having with injuries and Lyon being kind of unproven, where he was very good this season for sure, I think they're going to want a little more stability. With Minnesota trying to go with Marc-Andre Fleury and Jesper Wallstedt, who you know was picked after Sebastian Cossa in the draft, I think Gustafsson might be on his way out, and I think Minnesota would like a player like Robbie Fabry to put in their top 9. So that's a trade where I think that's fair. What do you guys think? With those two moves, do you think that would be enough? So those are the two trades. Now, the interesting part about this roster that I constructed, there were no buyouts. So there's really no savings that way. It was really just getting rid of Justin Hall and flipping Fabry for Gustafsson. When we look at our unrestricted free agents, we're signing 4. Now again, this is what I think is going to happen if I was Steve Yzerman, what he's thinking. Number 1, Patrick Kane. I think he is the number 1 target for the Red Wings because he clearly fit the team. He clearly is still a player to be reckoned with. I know I'm a fanboy for Patty Kane. Now, this analytics site has him coming in at $5.5 million for 3 years. Now, I am totally fine with that. I did a video about this about a month ago, about what do I think Kane is worth and what would I give him. So I'm completely fine with that. If that was what his ask was, I wouldn't hesitate. If you want to go and watch the video on Patrick Kane and what I think maybe the drawbacks are or why there aren't that many drawbacks, check it out. The Red Wings are also going to bring back David Perron. So 2 years, $2.8 million. So he's basically getting half of his salary slashed, and that cap hit is a little more manageable. The 2 years, I wasn't really too much of a fan of that, but that's what the analytics site was saying. So I'm just going to say 2 years. Hopefully he still has that. Now, the rumor is that he had a lot of dressing room presence. The guys really like him. He had an A on his jersey. So I'm okay bringing David Perron back. I think what he needs to do is dial it back with the stupid penalties. I know the foot speed isn't there, but I think, he's still a smart player and he has a little bit to offer this team. So we'll bring him back. The other holdover from the team this year is Christian Fischer. Again, another sandpaper guy, another guy that I enjoyed watching play. Now, bringing him back for a year at $1.2 million, it's a modest raise over what he was making last year. It was like 1.1 something. So we give him a little bit of a bump to bring him back to play on the 4th line. Now, the only newcomer other than Philip Gustafsson is going to be Dakota Joshua. Now, he's a Vancouver Canucks player. He is unrestricted. We're going to sign him to a 3-year deal, $3 million a year. He scored 18 goals last year, and he plays a little bit of a defensive style. He is gritty. We're losing guys like Daniel Sprongs, who also had 18 goals, but was not really defensive minded. So I'm replacing the goals, goal for goal, but I'm also adding to the defense. So with Gustafsson coming in, with Joshua coming in, and getting rid of Hall and Fabry, we're already, I think, improving the team's defense. And bringing back Kane, obviously, for the full season is going to help this team immensely. I think it gives them another 3 or 4 wins, if I'm honest. So let's look at the lineup with just those moves. And I know that seems like a little bit underwhelming, but I think that's kind of what's going to happen. We only have $873K in cap space left. So this is right up against it. Steve Yzerman has said, hey, we might be a cap team very soon. And they're being forced to do that with Seider re-signing, with Raymond re-signing. And so here's the lines. We got DeBrincat with Larkin and Kane, Berggren with Comfer and Lucas Raymond, and then Dakota Joshua is with Andrew Kopp and David Perron, and then Rasmussen with Veleno and Fischer. So not a ton different. We're basically replacing Fabry with Berggren, and then we're bringing up Dakota Joshua. What you're going to notice up front there is no rookies. And do I think that's realistic? I mean, if I'm looking at this right now, if they can't bring back Christian Fischer, maybe Marco Kasper makes the team or Carter Mazer. A pipe dream for me would be Nate Danielson is just a stud automatically, but it takes time. but maybe he can pull a Dylan Larkin and surprise us all. He had a really good preseason last season. He did really well in the WHL this year. Our defense is looking very similar to the end of last season. So we got Wallman with Seider, Simon Edvinson's going to be full-time with Ben Sherratt, and then it's Olli Mata and Jeff Petrie, Albert Johansson as the 7th defenseman. I would rather see Johansson in the lineup over Petrie. I don't know what this coaching staff sees in Jeff Petrie, but it looks like he'll be in the top 6. And then our goaltenders, we're going to rock 3. We're going to have Gustafsson with Lyon and Husso. Now, I have Husso at 3 because with the injury history, I have no idea what he's going to bring to the table. And then if you want to look at power play and penalty kill lines, DeBrincat, Larkin, Kane, Raymond, and Seider. Let's stack up the lines. I mean, last year there was a little bit of they were dicking around a little bit with putting Raymond on the second line and then putting DeBrincat on the 1 and then splitting up Kane and DeBrincat. It didn't make sense. Put the best players all on the ice together. All the top teams are doing that. And then the second power play, we're going to go with Berggren, Comfer, Perron, Dakota Joshua, and Jake Wallman. So because Joshua had 18 goals, I'm putting him on the power play. If you don't want to put him there and you want to put Rasmussen there, I'm fine with that. And then penalty kill, Larkin with Kopp, Mata and Seider on defense. Mata is more of a defensive defenseman. And then we got Comfer, Veleno, Edmondson with Ben Sherratt. So that is my realistic Red Wings roster. What do you think? Because we went right to the salary cap. We lost a 3rd round pick, gained Philip Gustafsson, got Dakota Joshua. We brought Patrick Kane back, brought back David Perron, and we're right up against the cap. Now, I think that this team on paper is slightly better than what we had last year. We also lost Shane Gostisbehere, and that's something that I kind of glossed over a bit. Shane Gostisbehere was a purely offensive defenseman, but defensively was not it. I am comfortable with Jake Wallman and or Simon Edvinsson running the second power play. I think it's time for Mo Seider to be the number 1 guy on the power play, and in that way, Gostisbehere is expendable. He was projected to get, I think, $4.5 million. So if there's any way that you guys wanted him back, instead of, say, signing Dakota Joshua, we bring up Marco Kasper and we bring back Gostisbehere, well, now we have 8 defensemen. So who are we sending back down? We can't get rid of Albert Johansson. He's waivers. The only guy that we can send down is Simon Edmondson, and that's just not going to happen. So what do you guys think of that? I know it's a little underwhelming, but this is something, get prepared for it, because this is probably what's going to happen, something like that. So if you want to check out that site, like I said, AFP Analytics, it's just a Google sheet. So you can go in and check out all the players that are going to be available and what they're projected at. Hopefully they update it within the next month because we're getting into the free agency season soon. So the next video that I'm going to do is going to be the crazy offseason and what I would do and what I would love to see, where maybe it's not as realistic, but could they pull it off? If anybody could, it's Steve Yzerman.